Welcome aboard Sea Venture. Join us and our crew as we slowly explore Mexico, the people, the culture, the anchorages, the cruising grounds, and everything it has to offer.
The cats have had the zoomies this morning, and now they are settling out a little bit, sitting on the back canvas. But I think they caught sight of these two guys who just bounded around the corner. So they're keeping an eye on them. Well, we kind of screwed up last night. We showed you all that rain that we had. And, oops, this center curtain, which is a pretty good sized curtain, was hanging down, but it was hanging down on the inside of these rails rather than the outside. And therefore we got a fair bit of water in here. So now we are drying out our trusty rugs that are covering up our ugly floor so we can get it finished up. So we just need to do some drying out. But other than that, otherwise we no more worse for wear. Well, we are back in business. All the stuff is put back. So we have our cockpit sitting area back again. And the carpet is still a little bit wet, but not as bad as it was. And definitely will dry out eventually. Blake is here. And he's looking up because Barkley is moving around on the canvas up here. So, another fun game they play. Alright, I just finished a project, so Jim suggested we share. We had these screen doors made in San Diego, and
San Francisco,
sorry, while we were there. And the purpose was so that we have these wing doors here that we can open and close. And when it's hot out, we want them open, but we can't have them open because that one will run all around and get off the boat and all those good things. So when we want the wing doors open, but we want the airflow, then we have these screens that we can put in place, and they are secure around the bottom. So I just created, I just sewed a little hook on the back of this so I could pull it back and just keep it out of the way when we're using it, and I just finished one on this side as well. So that's what I was wrapping up this morning. So now they can be put away but still in place and not flopping around and looking terrible. So
show how it works.
Oh. Well, in theory, let me put this down. Just disconnect that, and it swings around, and it has snaps over here, and we just
they snap into place.
Yeah, so
sweet.
Great screens, and it makes it so that this entire cockpit can be screened in, but still get really good airflow because these back three all have screens as well.
Yep, not needed in Alaska, all the screens.
No.
Here, most definitely. Well, maybe not in Sonata.
No, that's not true. We need it in Alaska too, just because it did get warm, and this is like a little solarium back here when it's all closed up and it's warm out. But the cat still escapes, and so it's really all about the cats.
All right.
Yeah. It's quite the rainy day out today, so Jim has decided to play in the galley.
Because I like playing in the galley.
So he's squeezing little limes for margaritas or whatever else we might decide we want the lime juice for.
Oh, this is for margaritas, man. Just getting all prepped. for an evening of margaritas, and gonna have some fun tonight. Have some friends coming over for dinner, so trying to get everything prepped for that. And then I don't know why I got in the idea of using the Instapot yet again and making a big batch of barbecued baked beans from scratch. So I got my bacon, onion, garlic, bunch of spices, some syrup, maple syrup, and we'll keep working on this baked bean recipe today. But in the meantime, making sure we're ready for the margaritas tonight too. Trying a new mix, a new ratios would be the right word, from one of our viewers that gave us.
Guys.
Yep. So thank you. We're going to do some barbecuing tonight for our friends that are coming over for dinner, and I thought I'd just show you real quick our barbecue. And I'll tell you a little bit about, now, just my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. We used to have a nice Magma barbecue, which is what you see on almost all boats, and because I don't like the litter, I didn't throw it in the water overboard. Instead, I went and threw it in the dumpster. And this is a Solaire, is who makes it. It's an infrared barbecue, not an open flame. It heats up to 500 degrees in about 5 minutes. It cooks phenomenally compared to a Magma barbecue, which always seems to want to flare up. We don't have that issue at all with it. I'm just preheating it a little bit now. Heats way up to like 500 degrees very nicely. It's hot enough you cook with it open. And it's been fantastic. I don't get to take credit for having this barbecue. This is what, who turned me on to these barbecues is Sean and Elizabeth on MV Freedom. It's the barbecue they have and like, and he thinks I think about the same as Magma barbecues as I do. I did not do the rail mount package that you can get. Instead, I have a case for it, and I put it away in the flybridge cabinet when not in use, because I think about 95% of the wear and tear on marine barbecues is from sitting out in the weather. So we put it away when not in use. Anyway, my opinion about infrared barbecues.
How old is it?
4 years old?
I think
5 years old?
3 or 4.
3 or 4 years old? Yeah, it's never missed a beat. Works fantastic. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we're having a great dinner tonight with David and Nancy. They're here on their boat. They're just like us, cruisers headed south, waiting for a weather window. So we're having a little celebratory dinner on Sea Venture because we're not sure when, but we can see a weather window at some point in the future. So it's dinner tonight aboard Sea Venture. Yay!
Yay!
Well, we emptied out another storage compartment that's in our couch. This one holds all our fabric, canvas making equipment, the sewing machine, paper cutter,
Snaps.
vacuum sealer. So we had a little sewing project to do today, so thus dig out the sewing machine and some fabric. And of course, anytime you open a space, cats need the help.
Absolutely.
All right, we've got our life sling, and the little, the large Velcro straps on the back are made to go around a round railing, and we have a larger wood railing, and so they're not really quite long enough, and they've never quite fit right. So I'm going to make it a little piece. Going to sew some fabric backing on, and then sew them onto there. So making little extensions with some Velcro on there. We'll use our sewing machine. It's not, it's a heavy duty Singer. It's not a Sailrite or anything because we're not sailors. But it's what we'll use, and it works good for our little projects aboard Sea Venture. So let's get to sewing.
A man of many talents.
All right, we've got our extensions ready to sew on. So this can go like this, and it can be bigger. But this is too, I can't get it into the machine. So this part we'll need to attach by hand with needle and thread.
We have one more project to do while we have the sewing machine out. We have one window that does not have a sunscreen, so we're using an old shade to create a new shade.
When this one's done, every single window on Sea Venture will have a sunscreen. All right, all full. Still plenty more storage room in there if we wanted, but that's everything we keep in that space. Give me 5 game board, real fun game.
But big, so it sits under
There you
the cushion.
go. Put the cushion back and the couch is all back together. Voila! For those of you that are going to ask, the baked beans came out great, actually. First time I've done that in the Instapot. So, cooking beans in the Instapot is really cool because if nothing else, you know, you just start with dried beans and you don't have to soak them, and it's just pretty quick and easy. Anyway, time for lunch. Rosie's working on hand stitching with a helper.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Well, it was going fine, but now I'm a little bit at a stopping point because, but I need my thimble, and I need my pliers, and I need my cats, evidently.
Yeah, more help.
Lots of help. Oh, goodness, thread. Okay.
This is the life sling case we've been talking about. We took the life sling out. It's, if you don't know, it's a, what do you call it, like a little foldable life ring with 100 or 150 feet of rope on it. You put it on your boat at the back. You tie the end of the rope, the white part, onto a railing, and if someone falls overboard, you just throw the whole thing overboard, all this. It trails out behind the boat, and in theory you can do a U-turn, and the person can snatch the line or the buoy as you come around.
Yep.
That's the theory behind it. It's one of 2 life rings we have on the boat here. I'll show you the other one. Here's our life sling on the port side of the boat. It's kind of hard to get a good view of it, but it comes as like a 3-foot life ring. Has a rope attached to it that's in this little baggie here. Then attached to the rope is this powered beacon with a flashing light. And attached to that is a long weighted pole that has a weight at one end, a float, and then at the far end, though it's hard to see because it's inside a little tube, is a flag. So that none of this is attached to the boat. So you throw all this overboard, and you've got a flashing light, a flag, and a buoy that hopefully you can see from a distance. At least that's the theory on our second life ring.
Okay, kiddo, here.
The galley window screen is done. This was the very last window on Sea Venture without one of these screens. So this is what it looks from the inside with the screen on. You can see that you can see out. It's all good. The window still opens. This window open, and this fan here is how we vent the stove. That's kind of our stove hood MacGyver. And let's take a look at the outside. And from the outside. Right, life sling all reattached with its little extensions. So it'll stay good now. These like to always kind of flop off before. So, tiny little project.
Done.